So my number one priority and greatest privilege, of course, is to hear and tell your stories. So I will continue to be the strongest advocate for our communities in Congress and here at home. And I am so grateful to all Iowans who have really dedicated their lives to helping those in need. And it is an important time to be telling those impactful stories in Congress as we work to make DC run more like Iowa.
El congresista Richie Torres destacó que Nueva York recibe $100,000 millones en fondos federales anuales, el 40% del presupuesto estatal.
Many, if not most, not-for-profits.
Advirtió que su eliminación colapsaría organizaciones comunitarias en toda la ciudad, afectando salud, vivienda y asistencia social.
Preocupado porque, mira, esto sería alguien que puede ser su madre, su padre, su tío, tía, hermano, hermana o alguna persona que usted conozca. Tiene un efecto de dominó.
It would be possible layoffs, closures of clinics, services to our community, and definitely it would be even more challenging to reopen the facilities. So it's not good. And we look at possibly losing medical providers, which are so challenging to get, to community clinics, because our competitors are the Kaiser and the Providence.
And an hour before we went on air, the administration announced tariffs, 25% tariffs against Canada and Mexico, 10% against China. He has told the American people that this is about stemming the flow of fentanyl and undocumented migrants into the country, and that somehow those countries are going to be penalized by these tariffs. Is that how this works?
No, that's never how it works. I mean, you know, tariffs always lead to trade wars, tariff wars like we're about to see, and that just means escalating costs for consumers. Now, the irony was he ran on making the economy better for regular people, making lives better for regular people. This is going to be taking money out of their pockets because it just means consumer goods are going to be more expensive. And because it's so broad-based, it's going to have a damaging effect across the economy in pretty short order, I would think.
And that's why we have $36 trillion in debt. We have it for a reason, because we make bad deals with everybody. And we don't allow that anymore. So the Wall Street Journal is wrong because, very simply, every single country that you're writing about right now is dying to make a deal, because the deals they have right now are so good and so good for them and so profitable for them. You didn't know that Canada didn't allow our banks. You didn't know all of these different things. And I think in the end you're going to see that either very, very substantial tariffs are going to be paid by them, or they're going to make some kind of a deal.
Well, that number is growing, though, Kristen. I think it's important, especially in the last year.
It's minuscule right now.
But it's growing. It's growing. And when they have a porous border and they don't seem very concerned at all. And by the way, I heard the clip earlier, Justin Trudeau sort of lecturing Americans. My advice to him is he probably ought to talk to the Canadian people who are about ready to throw him out of office because he's been a total disaster.
There's a Marburg outbreak in Tanzania. These are both lethal diseases that spread rapidly. The United States plays a key role in keeping us safe from threats that come from abroad, public health threats, and in keeping our partners and allies safe and in helping them. By showing we're not a reliable and trustworthy ally, this 90-day freeze, which may go on longer, I think puts our safety and security and our reputation at risk.
And small businesses in Florida rely on the full expensing tax provisions that allow 100% write-offs for investments made in the year that they are made. These provisions, along with other business-friendly incentives, are more crucial now than ever as Americans compete with Chinese companies to keep manufacturing and R&D in America. We should always prioritize American companies with innovation over Chinese competitors that are often beholden to the Chinese Communist Party.
But let's not pull any punches about why this is happening. Elon Musk makes billions of dollars based off of his business with China. And China is cheering at this action today.
Trump's actions are unprecedented, they're unconstitutional, they're often illegal, and they're dangerous. Pardoning the rioters of January 6th, people who assaulted police officers, firing of inspector generals who provide oversight, granting Elon Musk private access to our personal information, freezing the congressionally approved funding, launching an ill-advised trade war with our neighbors and our allies that is only going to increase costs for Americans and hurt our economy.
Go back to focusing on what the American people think the FBI should be doing. Right now, Trey, there's about $11 billion budget at the FBI. Over half of that is spent on intel, counterterrorism. And I understand that's part of the mission now of the FBI, but more than half the resources both in staff and in agents and in money is spent to that. How about going after organized crime? How about going after bad guys? How about helping deal with the things most Americans think the FBI should be focused on instead of this foreign intelligence issue and the political stuff that they've been involved with over the last several years?
And I'm especially excited to be here today because just a couple of weeks ago, I was assigned to the Small Business Committee in Congress. So conversations like the one that we're having today are my top priority, and I'm looking forward to using my position on that committee to amplify your voices in all the ways that I can. Small businesses are crucial to our economy and our communities, and you are all proof of that.
What funds will Elon target next? Life-saving medical research? Housing assistance? Food banks? We already know he is falsely attacking faith-based organizations that help people and promising to cut off funds based off conspiracy theories. The world's richest man has vowed to cut off funding that helps the least among us? Think about that. And next, think about how many dollars he himself makes from government contracts. And the Trump administration is handing the keys of the Treasury to him. It does not get more blatantly corrupt than that.
USAID was established over 60 years ago with the noble intention of fostering the advancement of the developing world, a goal that could benefit the United States by creating new trade partners and stable neighbors. Unfortunately, current budget allocation at USAID indicate a shift towards a social and cultural agenda that caters to the radical priorities of woke global elites. USAID has become a front for unelected bureaucrats to impose woke nonsense and harmful agendas across the globe, all on the U.S. taxpayers' dime.
$1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap.
It is time for them to stop being cowards, to uphold their oath, and to stand up to Donald Trump on behalf of this country, their constituents, and our Constitution. Thank you.
When the world interacts with Americans through programs that provide essential need, they get to see the heart and compassion of the American people. When someone is struggling because their bridge broke down, when USAID comes in and helps fix that bridge, that creates goodwill for the American people. Yes, yes. When people are dying of malaria and there is medication through USAID, that creates goodwill for the American people. When people are fleeing and they need just a little bit of food and USAID is there to provide that, that creates goodwill for the American people.
Mr. President, there was a moment in Mr. Collins' confirmation hearing that struck me. He said, and I quote, "The VA does not exist in and of itself. It exists for the veteran," end quote. Doug Collins has comforted wounded soldiers. He's taken calls from service members contemplating suicide. He understands what it means to serve the veteran. I look forward to confirming him in this role and working with him to uphold our nation's commitment to those who have served.
Four-country caucus, 40 veterans in Congress, in the House of Representatives.
Republicans and Democrats.
Republicans and Democrats. It's largely equal. all working together to be nonpartisan on making sure America is more safe, secure, and our veterans are taken care of.
This weekend, state leaders were at a groundbreaking in Glendale for a new transitional housing village for homeless vets and their families. Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego was there pushing for even more support for veterans.
There needs to be more. I work a lot on making sure that the housing vouchers veterans get are accessible.
Chris Wright understands that affordable, abundant energy is imperative to our national security. It's what allows families to heat their homes in the winter without going broke. It's what enables businesses to grow, hire, and compete globally. And it's what keeps America secure, independent, and free from the whims of foreign suppliers. At his confirmation hearing, Mr. Wright commented on a lot of this and made commitments to reining in waste, fraud, and abuse.
Mr. Wright calls himself, and I quote, a science geek turned energy nerd turned lifelong energy entrepreneur, end quote. And if he is confirmed, Mr. Wright will be notable among secretaries of energy for his depth of experience. He has experience in nuclear energy, solar, geothermal, wind power, oil, and natural gas. He's worked on innovations in technology that have reshaped the energy industry. And he's seen what energy can do to improve human lives, bring people out of poverty, and remake entire societies.
Mr. Wright has demonstrated tremendous leadership in the energy industry over the past more than 30 years. He is a true pioneer in advancing new technologies that unlock the shale energy revolution in our country.